UCLA, and my high school compadre, Kobe Jones, he did the dreadlocks. I couldn't do that.
So UCLA comes in 14th in the country, 5-3-1, level in conference at 1-1-1. UCLA was shut out here by Oregon State on Thursday, but it was a tight game. 1-0, Oregon State wins it. Mentioned at the top, 21 of UCLA's last 27 decided by a goal or less. Meantime, for Washington, sitting at number 2 right now, UW 8-0-1. They beat San Diego State on Thursday night down at the new Snapdragon Stadium. Gray, the game winner in the 34th minute, and then Meek on the PK in the 41st. And Lucas Meek, by the way, not starting this game for Washington, and he is just a beast offensively, so they're going to try to get away. I think Jamie Clark would rather not play him all day.
Yeah, no, we talked to Jamie Clark about Meek's situation. It's taken a couple of knocks in the last couple of games. Probably wise to leave him out. If you saw the game against Grand Canyon, you saw the hit he took, and so you understand what we're talking about. So hopefully he's feeling all right. We'll get some minutes today.
Throw deep into the box. Whistle comes right away, along with the arrival of the ball, and that'll be Ryan Jordan and the Bruins taking over. Nate Crockford in goal. Crockford, 9 games started this year, all 9. Goals against, 1.0. He's faced 91 shots, so he's getting a little too much attention. He needs that back line to protect him today. Washington, Eric, is a team that averages 3 goals a game. They just played a string of 3 games in a row where they scored 4 times in each of those matches. So they're going to have to protect the keeper, this UCLA.
Yeah, this is the kind of game that's a true test for Ryan Jordan, and that back line, of course, for Nate as well. But I think they'll take a very pragmatic approach to the first 5 minutes to try and figure out what they're dealing with. The other thing that you need to watch when you watch this Washington side is they like to press, but they don't like to press all the time. They'll pick those moments. It's almost like an ambush attack, and you never know when it's coming, but they do. And that collective effort is why they've been so successful.
Pietro Grassi, Tommy Silva on the back. You saw Nicholas Blasso get a little touch there, so there's Blasso with the ball right now and play it back to the keeper. UCLA going to be very pragmatic in their approach today. Now, against Oregon State, their problem was they lost the middle third. They lost all the 1v1s. If they had gotten through, they would have had numbers, but it just never materialized for UCLA. Frustrated all night long. UCLA not only lost the game and was shut out, Eric, they didn't have a shot on goal in 90 minutes.
Yeah, talking to Coach Ryan Jordan, he was frustrated about that for sure. I think one of the other things that they need to start doing is trust each other a little bit more. When you commit forward, you can't be just with 2 or 3 guys. You know, I mean, watching Tommy Silva on this left side wearing the number 3, how many times can he get over that midfield stripe? How many times can he be somebody that they can rely on to create that final opportunity? Great left foot.
For Washington, they have a lot of options, but they have the best scorer in the country. That's him right there trying to get his foot on the ball at the near touchline. That's Elijah Paul. 8 goals. He is top of the table in collegiate soccer right now. So Washington a chance to be number 1, and number 12 has the most goals in collegiate soccer right now. So he'll be a target, but they have others. Omar Gray, the game-winning goal at San Diego State on Thursday night. Christian Soto has 4 scores for them as well this year. Here comes Mielides, first touch for him. Eric talked about Mielides at the top of the show. He leads UCLA. Working a little give and go. That's Tommy Silva wearing the 3. We just mentioned him, the left back joining the attack. And here comes Washington on the counter. Omar Gray laying it out wide. Richie Alman plays it back to the middle third.
And Richie Alman had a terrific goal against Grand Canyon. Came off the bench. And as I said before, a comprehensive victory is what I referred to that game. But there's been a few of those. And it's just amazing with the weapons that they have. Somebody can take a night off, and somebody will still deliver.
Yeah, and Alman's that guy for Lucas Meek to get his minutes tonight. Here's Gray looking to serve a ball, gets it back to his right foot outside the 18. Now bring it back, get a better look. Christian Soto, good facilitator. Chips a ball inside right to the edge of the 6, and UCLA has to punt it up on top of the wooden center.
Yeah, I just mentioned how many times we're going to see Tommy Silva get forward. Chris Myers is already wearing the number 7 shirt in the opposition's box. I was really curious to see how they would handle their corner kicks, because they have several guys. Rosales is a guy, I think, where he wears the number 10, but Scardina doesn't take these very often, so this is a new look.
And Nick Scardina, the in-swinger from that side. Sent back in, but Myers didn't get a lot of it, and a chance here for UCLA. Crocker put his hand in the air. He thought about coming out and taking that ball on a bounce, but it never got to him. Here's Gray. 1v1 in the corner against Mielides. They get deflected. Nope, just missed it. Be a goal kick for the Bruins. So coming into this thing, I'm looking at it. Washington scores a lot of goals. They like to play up-tempo. They got a lot of different weapons. For UCLA, survive the first 45, keep it scoreless at the break, wait for a counter.
Well, I mean, I think what it will come down to, especially with Soto, if you watch 14, he'll sit in that little pocket. If you can ever break the pressure, right, and then recognize it collectively that moment to go forward as a group, that's going to be the key. And you can't give it away like that, though. That'll be a long night for UCLA if they continue down that road. But it really is. It's an interesting group with Cosa Riense. These two, the way that they manage the game, the way that they draw you into the game, and then immediately they're so punishing. And one of the things that you'll notice about them is they don't mark people. They wait until the player gets the ball before they come and get you. They're going to do it right now.
You just mentioned Kalani Cosa Riense, who wears the 6 for Washington. And here comes that high pressure. So all the goal scorers like to get it right back. They're gonna check a high pressure, and if UCLA can break it like this, they get numbers right at the midfield as they get into the attacking end.
Right, now they got to go. And this is usually where you lose it against Washington. This is where they're so good. And now they have a numerical advantage.
And here comes, this is Omar Gray down the corner looking to square it off. Going to bring it back to his left foot. And Gray usually won't hesitate when he gets the ball deep like that. He's going to bring it right across. Nate Jones is their top 1v1 defender, but will also join the attack. He's way over midfield now. Elijah Paul, the 12, waiting for a ball to be laid off. He's inside the 18, and he had some space. Headed away by Silva, who's in the right spot. Silva's marking Omar Gray. He's going to follow him everywhere he goes. Gabe Threadgold sends it back in. Went right off the foot of Christian Soto. Scardina lost it in another goal kick. So is it me, or are we all looking to the right? Have I looked to the left once yet?
Not yet. And look, and that might be the way the first 20 minutes goes. In the collegiate game, at the pro game, normally the first 20 minutes is that feeling out process. You find out what kind of game you're in a hurry at the collegiate level. The first 5 minutes, I think we know exactly what we're looking at. But it is going to be a scenario where UCLA needs to get a hold of the ball when they have those moments to find each other and then break pressure. They just can't give it away cheaply.
Nate Crockford, the UCLA keeper, a little frustrated, just booted the ball all the way down and out. So it goes back to Washington. Quickly, they're across midfield again. Remember, Washington is playing without Lucas Meek, who's just a beast offensively for them. Changes things when he's not on the field, but as Jamie Clark told us before the game, it's the usual next guy up, right? Meek's not ready to go, so they turn, and Chris Myers will get some time. Amon's going to get more time.
Well, Richie Alman, if you started out on that left wing where Meek would have been, there's a great ball in behind.
Yeah. Sosa with the lead ball. Shot and handled well by Fowler on the 1v1. Wow, that was a golden opportunity. Jose Conte, who's third on the team in scoring, already has a couple of tallies this year. Got a great ball over the top from Sosa, who's got it again at his feet, and his chin is up with space. And again, he's going to chip a ball into the attacking third. Boy, that was just a beautiful, well-weighted, well-timed ball.
Yeah, that second one didn't work out so well, but when you have time and space and your forwards are on the move, not the best of first touches, but you might have been able to take another one, but Conte wants that one back. He hits it right at Fowler.
He got a lot on it. He just hit it right at the keeper.
He hit it clean. He hit it clean, but he's probably thinking to himself, take it away from that oncoming defender, get it on his right, get that goalkeeper to commit. Just made it too easy for Fowler.
Sam Fowler has not allowed more than one goal in any match this year for Washington. Back come the Huskies. Scardina had it for a second, but couldn't settle that ball. And now UCLA fighting off the ropes a little bit. They were on their back foot for the first 10 minutes or so. Right in the area, and cleared away. That was Gio Miglietti, who was one of their top scorers last year. Miglietti now has moved to the center back position. Good athlete. He's played there before. There he is again. Second header on this sequence.
Miglietti, what a great kid. I mean, that's not an easy thing to do. You know, there's a couple of guys within this Jamie Clark team that will that are just Swiss Army knives. You can put them just about anywhere, and they understand the system well. They understand what their manager is trying to get out of them. But that's, if you're talking about Gray, who's played in the midfield, played at center back as well. These guys are just interchangeable parts. It's amazing.
If you're a head coach and you ask a guy to go from defense to offense, that's probably a short conversation.
You wouldn't ask me.
But the other way?
Yes,
maybe
me to go back there. I have no business going back there. It's a possible own goal. So keep me out of that conversation. But these guys, they've just really collectively come together.
That's Grossi. That's play one into the middle. Tommy Silva with pressure on at midfield. Scardina was on him. Better bounce there, and Scardina would have had numbers. Elijah Paul was going with him. Omar Gray, they had already turned. And were dead sprints. Throw in for the Bruins. Into the 11th minute. Only shot by UCLA so far, and it was this guy, Conte. I was talking with Ryan Jordan before the game, and of all their threats, I said Conte to me looks like maybe the most dangerous. Here he is again, and once again coming out to grab it is Fowler. So Fowler hasn't been tested a lot this year. Washington hasn't really played any highly ranked teams. Already twice has had to come off his line to keep UCLA quiet.
And this is a pretty good look. There's just not anybody in front of the net. And two guys making the same run. In the end, it was a fairly easy save for Fowler, but a little concerning. I think this is very good for UCLA to get behind that line a few times. Make them think about it.
I was wondering about the bounce back for UCLA, not only getting beat by Oregon State, getting shut out and not having a shot. So, you knew their pride was wounded and they would come back. Here's Omar Gray. Gray has Elijah Paul inside. Scardina tries to spin against three Bruins. Laying it back to Kalani Kosariense. Pinball offense.
Yeah, I was fortunate to get on the end of that, Richie Alman. But that's the way this team plays. Once they win the ball, they have options. They're unafraid to either take shots or just try that clever little pass into a forward. And now you see him, setting up once again. This is a trap. So essentially trying to force the ball into an area that they can win it back, and there it is.
Once again, the Washington offense just leaning on UCLA. Here's Paul, leading goal scorer in the country with 8. 8 goals through 9 games. Trying to find Gray. Silva and Grossi are keeping an eye on Omar Gray. You had to figure the back line for UCLA. Pretty happy to not see 33, Lucas Meek, in the starting lineup for Washington. Meek is not only talented, he's also huge, over 6'2", 200-pounder. But he got dinged up in that San Diego State game, so he's sitting on the Washington bench, and they hopefully don't have to use him. Richie Alman right there. You just saw him a moment ago. Comes out of Hanover, New Hampshire. And how does a kid get from Hanover, New Hampshire all the way to Montlake? Well, it's pretty easy. He played on the Hanover high school team, and he played with Jamie Clark's nephew.
Isn't that great how that sometimes that recruiting process works? He goes, hey, I know a guy.
Yeah, I know a guy.
But I think it's cool. I mean,
a phone call and all of a sudden you start getting tape on a kid. Gray now. Good settle. Gray taking on 2. Tough angle. Takes it to the end line. Tries to chip it back and a little too much. Looked like maybe Ahmed on that backside, but way over his head, and he can't even keep it in. Be UCLA ball.
Yeah, he's let himself down there. Just a heavy touch. He takes it all the way to the line, but this is where you just need a little deft touch. You don't want to hit it hard. You just want to clip it in there, and he just hit it too hard.
I thought he might cut it back to the left foot there, or just try to square one across. Omar Gray, game-winning goal at San Diego State on the follow in the 34th minute. Get explosive turn, great first step. Couple of goals this year.
I got to tell you, Jim, what I really love about this Washington team is how many of these kids are locals. I mean, in the modern era of college football, you get like Missouri State. You can play a fun game, find the American, but that isn't the case. These kids are from Oregon or Washington, and it's terrific. It just speaks volumes of the coaching ability of Jamie Clark.
And that's true across the board at the University of Washington. It's a very provincial city. A lot of kids who go to UW went to UW because they grew up there. Their parents went to UW. There's a lot of local pride in the program. And because Jamie Clark has put together such a great record over his 12 years, 154 wins, second most wins in UW history. Last year, best season in school history. They won 18 went to the College Cup for the first time, went to the final for the first time, and lost to Clemson. Sound familiar?
Oh, he had to
Oh,
get
here's Gray, deflected. Kept out Crockford, got a piece of it. Still in play. Omar Gray there again, trying to win the ball in the air, and 2 players down. They might have bumped heads.
Yeah, they did. You hate to see that. And this might take a while. There was some confusion back there. At least they're trying to clear the ball out. It dropped for Soto, who clipped a pretty good. There is, Richie Ama. We were just talking about the kid from New Hampshire and what he brings to the table, and then he's able to get it to Soto.
This is Kevin Diaz and Omar Gray right there. They're ones bumping heads.
Yeah,
and Diaz, of course, a big threat for UCLA up front. Diaz had dropped back there defensively and was marking Gray. They're both just trying to win that ball in the air and inside the 6, so that was a valuable ball.
They're smartly going to go through the concussion protocol. Make sure he's all right.
Diaz third in scoring. A couple goals this year. Had the game-winning goal against UC Irvine in the season opener. And the top scorers last year as well. They got to keep him on the pitch. So you can hear the crowd responding. And a good crowd, shirt sleeve crowd at UCLA. 75 degrees. Just a little wisp of wind coming off the Palisades.
Great conditions, actually. You got to love it. I looked it up. I thought it would be such how much of a difference it would have been if we would have had this game in Washington. Almost the same. So nobody has the advantage today. Just a beautiful view. So
I've lived in a lot of places in my life, including Southern California and Hawaii. And the best summers I ever had were in Seattle. It's magical up there in the summertime. Everybody's got a boat.
It's God's country. I know. All my buddies tell me the same thing.
Find somebody who's got a boat. Hey, we're going to put the boat in the water.
Well, that does make for a good day.
Yeah, it's awesome. And the University of Washington sitting right on the lake. Actually, right between Lake Washington and Lake Union, the Mountain Lake Cut.
Yeah, again, Crockford forced to go long, and it really is because, we talked about that pragmatic approach. UCLA has chosen not to send those backs. They're gonna let them just kind of sit in that pocket. That's making it way too easy for Washington.
Washington has outscored its opponents 27-5 this year. Meantime, UCLA has outscored its opponents only 12-9. So you can see the dichotomy there in the two styles. UCLA going to play on its back foot, pack it in defensively, try and keep a low-scoring game. Third time we mentioned, but 21 of 27 games by UCLA, 1 goal difference.
Yeah, this is a unique situation. The big boys are coming up. Time and time again, Rosales is not playing right now, and it'll probably be Chris Myers who will hit this, I would think. But they have proven to be so good on set pieces.
Myers the 7, Scardina the 11. Myers leads the team with 7 assists, but it's Scardina. That ball was deep into the 6, and UCLA able to repel it for the time being. Scardina trying to win it back. Nate Jones is there. Christian Soto.
Quick feed from Soto. He's so good at getting it out of those spaces.
Served in again, but this will be the keeper's ball all the way. Nate Crockford saw it. Nate Crockford, who backed up Justin Garces last year until he was injured, took over the job.
Never looked back.
And it's been his, yeah.
Watching him warm up, I think one of the things you have to look for in a goalkeeper with a 6'4" frame is, can he do what he just did? Under pressure. I know it looks like, not much. They just put that 60 yards. That's what you do. That's intelligence. If it's not on, don't try to be a hero back there. I've been really impressed with his decision-making as far as building out of the back. But I would say this, too stagnant from UCLA right now. They have to figure out a way to move the pieces around. They're going to have to start taking some risk.
Talking with Ryan Jordan about his keeper before the game as he comes out again to take this ball out of bounds. I said, what do you like about him? He said his experience in big games. While you're playing the number 2 team in the country, one of the teams expected to vie for the conference title, it's a big game. I said, what do you want to see him do better? I said, get more vocal. I'd like to hear him
I could see that.
More vocal from that back line.
I could see that. But again, they're going to choose to try and play out of the back. Silva's really deep, and it's really going to come down to this play right here. Can you get out of it or not?
Can't do it. Has it taken away, dispossessed by game 3, third goal. Diaz, who looks okay now. Grassi trying to keep it in.
Yeah, they're going to call that a corner.
Yeah.
And the big boys will come forward again. It looks like Chris Myers is going to finally get to show us what that left foot is all about. He's wearing the number 7 shirt. He'll take his time getting there. This will be an in-swinger. I've been really impressed with this man's ability on set pieces. That's why I'm a little surprised by Scardina taking the first couple, because I really think that's just Jamie Clark trying to throw off the opposition. This will be our first look at what they really want to do. Look at that. You want to cram 15 people into a closet? That's what it looks like.
Myers leads the team with 7 assists.
That was not his best.
Inside Nate Jones trying to get to it for that ball to settle at his feet. Elijah Paul, the 12. One-timer. Richie Hamann with the left. If he just could have got the foot on top of the ball, he might have ducked it underneath the bar.
Yeah, we're playing
one time on the volley.
Pinball or volleyball or something and tell them, but just get your feet set. Does almost everything right. He's not left-footed. He does play on the left side. He's primarily a right-footed player. But I've been impressed with this kid. He's not afraid. He's tricky. He'll get after you.
Freshman, again from Hanover, New Hampshire, Hanover High School. Same school that his head coach Jamie Clark went to back in the day. Let's leave it there. You mentioned at the top, Jamie Clark has done it again. Everywhere he's gone, he's improved teams. Creighton, Harvard. He was at Notre Dame for a while with assistant coach with his dad.
The dad might be here tonight, and he's hoping that he might get to see his sister Jen, who goes to Caltech. They are probably somewhere in attendance tonight.
Jamie Sosa gets this build-up started.
You got to understand something. The reason why I know so much about Jamie Clark, believe it or not, when he was drafted and made a professional by Brian Quinn in San Jose, I was the first guy that met him in the locker room and greeted him and said, "Welcome to the San Jose Clash," as we were called way back then. I asked him about that today. He's completely forgotten. So I guess I didn't put a very
make a big impression.
Not a really great
but his
impression.
head was spinning. He's a rookie. He's getting paid now to play. What year would that have been?
That would have been 1999.
Here come the Bruins. Mihalides has some space. He looked up down that wing just to see. Thought about going. Tommy Silva. And now back to Grassi. So the back line really playing a lot with the ball at their feet. Blasu on the far side.
And again, look at how deep Silva is. Tommy Silva's got a great left foot, and he's got to venture further down the field. He doesn't have anybody to pass it to right now. All he sees is purple shirts.
Finally, Omar Gray comes out to force the issue. UCLA would just play catch at midfield.
Let's see if they can get it wide now. Mihalides is wide open if they can get it to him.
All right, now the Bruins have moved across midfield. Mihalides again.
Good spell of possession.
Thomas Rainbow, the freshman from New Zealand, in there for UCLA, wears the 20. And he's just been trying to find a soft spot in the Washington defense. You got Diaz at the top. And then just underneath, Sosa, the 7. Sosa's being marked by Paul. There's Rainbow. What's Mihalides? Tries to slide a ball through. Couldn't get his left on it. Well, that was a great run and very creative. I like what UCLA did there. Sucked Washington into the middle of the park and played it right behind.
It really came down to one pass, and there it was right there. Getting yourself in a little pocket, break the lines. The weight of that pass is just not, it's like 6 inches too much. Otherwise, we're looking at a 1-0 scoreline.
Thought Mihalides would step into it with the left and bury it in the roof.
He's still thinking about it.
You can see the buildup. It remains scoreless into the 22nd minute. Shots now 3-2 Washington. 2 saves by Nate Crockford, the UCLA keeper, 1 by Sam Fowler, and the save by Fowler, 1v1 against Jose Conte on a breakaway. And Conte couldn't decide left or right, and it right in the middle of the goal mouth. And that's where the keeper, Fowler, was waiting.
Let's see how far Threadgold goes here. If he can push the line.
Miglietti trying to find Omar Gray. Works against Silva. By the time Gray got that ball, he had defenders on 3 sides. Scardina's been real active.
He let himself down there. Just wanted to hit a one-touch pass to Gray, but it's almost as if Washington would prefer this scenario. Have the opponent try to work it out deep out of their own end. Position yourself well. Win your battle. Sometimes you have to double team a guy just to win the ball back, and then get after him immediately. That seems to be the plan right now.
Again, lots of high pressure by Washington, and they force UCLA to spill it a couple of times unforced on their own end.
Now they
this
got to
is
go.
what UCLA needs. Get it going forward, get some numbers. Rainboat's in the middle. Diaz on the far side. Conte. And that's going to be...
I'll go for a
going to be a corner, yeah. Fowler tried to get to it. Sammy Fowler diving for that ball, lands out of bounds.
Yeah, much better though. I mean, look at the white shirts. All of them committed to going forward. That's the first time we've seen 4 UCLA players make their way into the 18. It's been a long pass, or it's been someone that's just gone off on their own on a run. But that's what's kind of happening right now. UCLA's growing into the game, trying to find those spaces, going around them instead of going through them. Let's see how they work this corner.
This is Jose Sosa for the Bruins. Hand in the air, squinting into that setting sun. Looked like he mishit it a little bit, or maybe somebody didn't come to the ball. Far side, Conte got to settle it. Heads it back into the middle. Ball still alive. Chip by Grossi. Grossi had a chance to score. He was 4 yards off the line.
Well, how about that for a sequence?
Flurry by the Bruins in front. I'm surprised they come up empty.
It looks like they will officially move ahead of Washington on shots. As this ball comes in, Conte just tries to put it back in front. It's still alive. Couple of digs at it.
Balasu with the first touch. And then Grossi had the follow. And somehow Fowler and the Washington defense able to keep it out. Again, Washington has only allowed 5 goals in 9 matches this year. Both of these teams top 20 in the country. UCLA's got 4 clean sheets themselves.
This is better. Go around him. See if you can get some runs.
Grayson Duty plays that ball up the wing.
Oh, well done.
Slalom run. Conte. And Rainbow just overcooks it. Just trying to redirect on the one-timer and got it underneath it.
Got to do better
But
there.
UCLA looks like the better team all of a sudden.
Conte is just looking up, doesn't have anything, says, all right, well, I'll just see what I can make of it on my own. Great feet. You just got to do better from there.
Yes. Conte did all that work and lays it on the foot of Rainbow.
That's how they do it in Valencia, Spain.
Gray again has been a target on those long balls by Washington. Here's Elijah Paul. Found himself all alone. Paul again.
Yes.
That shot is blocked. Amon and Conte battling for it on the far touch. That's foul going to be Washington on the restart.
Not chippy. I wouldn't say it's chippy, but
Physical.
Both teams
It's all right.
realizing they are in a game. It's time to compete.
Referee Elvis Mahmudovic. So Elvis is in the building. He knew it had to happen. I always go for the low-hanging fruit, Eric. You know
there
that?
was.
Gotta
All right.
take it.
Let's see what they do again. I'm disappointed not to see Chris Myers at this, though.
Scardina. Seems like from that side, it's going to be Scardina. Again, the target is Omar Gray.
Not to pick on you, kid, but we're in Westwood, and that ball brought snow on the way down. They've got to hit better crosses. I mean, if you look at where they've had success throughout the season, especially on set pieces and corners, they haven't represented that part of their game tonight. Well, at least not yet.
Yeah, they're missing that final ball, right? I mean, the pitch has been tilted in Washington's favor, although UCLA has had the better scoring opportunities. Bruins have 6 guys inside the 18. 1 goes down. We're going to play on.
Oh, boy.
And now Scardina spilled in the box right on the spot.
There's a foul on the far side.
And that happened
that's
early. I don't think the referee saw it. Watch right there.
I think he just finger in the eye.
Maybe back of the head.
I think his hand might have caught him in the eye, and yeah, I think he's telling us now. But
Yeah, it's Duty. Grayson Duty, the junior from nearby Hermosa Beach, and then Scardina for Washington got knocked over right on the penalty spot, and he crumpled up. Everybody's back up. Let's play on.
Yeah, this is another difficult proposition for UCLA, trying to work themselves out of a corner.
Washington has all 10 field players across midfield. Goes Horiense. Playing it back, here's Miglietti. And Miglietti, because as we told you earlier, was an offensive player. Last year was a forward, an attacker. He's always looking to join. You know, he wants to start it, and then he's going to have an overlapping run. I've seen a couple of Washington games, and he always seems to get involved at that end. I think it's his instincts. Once a goal scorer, always a goal scorer. Like that guy, Omar Gray, like number 12, Elijah Paul. 27 goals for Washington coming in. The best offensive teams in the country. They're averaging 3 goals a game, 18 shots. Only once they've scored less than 2 goals. Here come the Bruins again. Conte's always involved. Tried to pull it back and stumbled. Well, Conte is the most creative player on the field. Watch Conte, and Washington knows it now. So he's got them on their back foot.
Yeah, what I like about that is the way that Chris Myers defended it, because once a player like Conte gets you inside the box, he knows that he can have his way with you. You can't foul him. You can't foul him. He's just tricky enough to make you miss.
Good hustle here. Trying to keep it in. Not quite for Tommy Silva. Washington wants to go quickly.
I love seeing that name Tommy Silva pop up on the board. There used to be a Thomas Silva who I will refer to. Thomas, that's right. I'm referring to you. Great goal scorer. Was a part of that, I believe that it may have been the 85 championship team with some great players, the Dale Irvines of the world, and Mike Getchell, Paul Crumpy, Paul Caligiuri. Great team.
All the way to the end line and spilled.
And there's a couple of guys out there that are going to say, oh, you forgot to mention me. I didn't forget you, Doug Swanson. You were good too.
Got to get them all in, or
yeah,
text.
Yeah, the text message will start flowing if I don't remember everybody. My favorite player was Mike Getchell. He wore the 17 shirt.
How come?
He was Brazilian. He was clean. Injuries, really shortened his career, but he was a fantastic forward.
Scardina again from the corner. Oh, excellent service, and it goes through almost untouched. In fact, it was, so it'll be a goal kick.
Yeah, Gio almost got
ball.
that one. There's the realities of when you've been told to play center back, and he used to be a forward. You want to make the most of of those trips forward. He almost got it there.
Miglietti wearing the 8 for Washington.
Let's watch what they do here, because this has been a reoccurring theme. UCLA is trying to push bodies forward, but that first pass, if it's not on, you're so vulnerable.
And here you go. There's Gray and Paul leading scores for Washington with a high pressure and forcing Crockford really just to punt the ball to midfield and hope for the best. Works out this time as UCLA keeps the possession.
Oh, yeah.
Kevin Diaz. Collision. Diaz just bounces off and says, let's play.
It's good cover there from Nate Jones. We talked to Jamie Clark about him and his passing ability. He's still maybe a little bit raw as he learns the position and what kind of game he wants, what his skill set is. I've been very impressed with his ability to play out of the back.
You can tell UCLA is trying to involve Mielides. They're trying to play up this left side, but Washington hip to it coming in. Yep. So every time Mielides gets a touch, he looks up, he's got at least 2 defenders on him.
It's really ball movement, Jimmy. He's got to get the ball there quicker. If he can get it to Tommy Silva quicker, and then it's a 1 and 2 touch, maybe even a 1 touch. They'll go over the top now.
Kevin Diaz watches this one right again. Oh, he tried to nutmeg him. Drag it into the box, gets it back. Diaz looking for help, chips with the left foot. It's knocked away and cleared. So that just kept getting more and more dangerous because Diaz just kept pressing. That's a grab. Well, it seems like the most success that UCLA's had is when they play the ball off this side, because it was Conte, now it's Diaz.
Yeah, Diaz with how about that for some quick feet? When he has his way with Chris Myers, who, I mean, let's face it, Chris Myers is wonderful going forward, not the best of defenders at times, but that was a beautiful little bit of skill there from Diaz.
Yeah, I thought UCLA would be left-handed coming in offensively, the two best chances on the other side.
Well, I mean, it's one of the things that you're going to employ in a day like this is you know where the weaknesses are, you know how you want to get after them. Putting Diaz out there on the right side as a left-footed player, it's almost a trend in the modern game now to see if you can get an overlap and get numbers forward. Because that overlap creates the space to allow you to really take on that left back in a different way.
Nate Jones and Miglietti for Washington.
See how much further up the field Chris Myers is there.
Watching Christian Soto for Washington, and there he is. You can see he was trying to get their attention. He had space. He just had to make himself available. Soto still chasing after that ball. Good effort by the Bruins here, showing a bit more edge. There's Conte. Here he comes, running sideline to sideline. Washington works a give and go. Scardina. Scardina's got a high work rate, doesn't he? He just always seems to be moving.
This is a really good defensive effort from UCLA, keeping the ball in front of him.
Goes to Rienze now, plays it out to the left side. Duty defensively for UCLA on the 1v1. It's Amon, still has the ball. And Diaz came over to help defensively for the Bruins. Amon steps between two. Tried to get into Scardina, who was at the edge of the 6.
That was actually Myers. Yeah, that left foot of Myers. He's done this before. I watched him turn the corner in Grand Canyon. And once he gets in these little pockets there, that very, very careful and cautious with that one, because once he gets behind, you can't touch him. You can't touch him, and the last thing you want to do is foul him. I think that's a tricky side. You got Amon, you got Richie Alman wearing the number 9 in our picture now, who's unafraid to just go at people. He likes to wrong foot you. He'll take you to the line. He'll cut you back if he has to.
And he's still a kid. He's still a teenager. Freshman playing on the big pitch, and a chance for Washington to be number 1 in the nation. Wake Forest was number 1, lost last night. Washington's number 2, unbeaten through 9 games. Rainbow looking for help. He's got Diaz far side, but Diaz was about 10 meters behind him, so he really had to hold up and wait for Diaz to get into the 18.
I'm surprised that Diaz didn't take advantage of that one-on-one opportunity, but elected to recirculate. Again, there's Soto. I mean, how many balls has he won tonight or this afternoon?
We haven't called Ochoa's name much for UCLA, the 8. And see him get involved. Diaz, Ochoa, Riley Furch not playing in the first half for UCLA. All these guys usually involved in their scoring formulas. And Mielides as well. He's playing on the near touchline, bottom of your screen, waiting for this ball now. And that's what they've been doing every time Mielides gets it.
Forcing him back.
His option is to play it back. They're taking him out of the game. What a diagonal ball here.
He's got about
he can do it.
yards of space if they can find him. He is on. Just got to get it there. Can't do that.
Paul, middle of the park, right in the center circle. Spins and goes outside of the right foot. Touches it 4 times. Crossie's right with him. Paul, leading scorer in the country, with the left foot, and it's blocked. And this is going to roll out for a throw-in. And now substitutions. And here comes Lucas Meek for Washington, 33.
You're looking, he's just looking for space. Finally gets an opportunity to get on that left. That's not the stronger of his two. Richie Alman will actually come out of this game. We will see Lucas Meek, who's been very impressive this year. His size, his power. It's 6'2". Usually they end up saying, well, why don't you try defense? When he gets the ball, he has such a wonderful ability to wrong foot you. And when he gets on the end of things, he certainly has shown that he can score some goals.
7 goals for Meek this year. 3 of those the game-winning version. Second on the team with 5 assists. Comes in hot too. 5 goals and 3 assists in his last 4 games, including the PK at San Diego State. And a 2-0 win on Thursday night to open their conference season.
If you watched him play out in Arizona against Grand Canyon, this is a team that UCLA really struggled with. The card situation didn't help, but Meek was just unbelievable. Took over the game. First 20, 25 minutes. If he scores tonight, what he'll do is he'll do his signature celebration with the guitar in the corner.
I was kind of hoping for it coming in, just so I could see it in person. Service to the 6 on the far side, and that was Lucas Meek.
And a thread goal with a great cross. You know, as a forward or anybody that's going to try and get on the end of that, you got to give yourself a little bit more space. You got to back up before you go forward. Just too hard to jump from that scenario and get it on goal. But he'll occupy that left side. This is a different look. You know, the games that I've seen Washington play this year, this ambush attack, just sit and wait. And then once you get the ball in the middle of the park, you've got nowhere to go. Your only choice is going to be have to go long. We did talk to Jamie Clark about that, and it's happened a few times tonight, Jen. Like when UCLA is building out the back and the pressure doesn't work out, and they do go long, that was a concern. He said there's a couple of guys on this UCLA side that can get behind my back line, and true to his word, that's happened so far. Been the two best chances one would say UCLA's had tonight.
Yep, that's exactly what he told us. 38 minutes behind us, and Washington going back to the bench. Rosales coming in. Well, speaking of our conversation with Jamie Clark, he loves Rosales. He's been the best player in training. Now he just wants more. Put it, he needs more touches.
And what he has a tendency to do is to kind of float at times. But when he finds some open pockets and he's given a little bit of time and space to show us how talented he is, those were the wonderful moments happen.
So the two substitutions for Washington and Jamie Clark, Meek and now Rosales, and both of those guys offensive-minded. So Jamie Clark getting a little impatient here as we get near the break. Scored.
I think he's got some things to think about. UCLA has certainly had a couple of opportunities that'll make your heart rate jump.
Took out Omar Gray, keep him fresh for the second half. Here comes Washington quickly in transition. The throw-in, Rosales to Paul. Cosariense trying to go to Scardina.
Or can you break pressure now?
Sosa's done a good job being that linking guy in the midfield. Down goes Conte.
That's a pretty good play from Threadgold. It's a scrappy defender. I'm going to call a foul, but not a whole lot in it. But Elvis going to the whistle. I'm impressed with UCLA tonight. Been better than we've seen in the last couple of games.
Looked much better than they did Thursday night against Oregon State. Much more dangerous. Remember, they played that entire game without a shot on goal.
Right, and it's a character test. You know, when you play against one of the teams, this is clearly the number 1 or 2 team in the country right now. And to put forth this kind of effort, it's not just a confidence boost, but it's a test. It's a test of your character. Can you raise your level?
Here comes Aaron Edwards into the game. Normally starts and plays a lot on that back line for UCLA. He came in the Oregon State game. He ended up with the final shot in that game. Remember, it was a 1-0 loss for UCLA. He had a sharp angle.
How about that?
UCLA's best chance. Could
see a little bit of skill from Rosales, and that's kind of what Jamie Clark is talking about. Goes to the ground, but still is able to make the pass. It will be Chris Myers that's going to take this corner kick. Now let's see if they do it again. Let's see how many. I think this is a game of how many people can you put inside the 6-yard box. So if you count really quick, I've already got 1, 2, 3, 4. 16, folks. That's 16 people inside the 6-yard box.
What are they hoping for?
So I've seen this before. They're trying to just create as much havoc as possible. The real target here is Jones. Essentially, Chris Myers is shooting, and it's just a nightmare for a goalkeeper.
Jones wears the 3, 6'2½". Good target.
Oh, almost got it. You know, if you were to ask Chris Myers if that's what he was intending to do, yes, it was to find that man, but a little bit closer to goal. He probably missed that by about maybe 3-4 feet.
Nate Jones, who we saw it earlier this year against Seattle, Going for a ball midfield in the air. The Seattle player goes back with his head, hits Jones right underneath the right eye, opens a cut. He gets up, blood trickling down his face. Trainer comes out, gives him a towel. He doesn't leave the field. 43rd minute now. The game is finally slowed down just a little bit.
Well, I mean, this is that crucial, 3 minutes before half. You never want to concede. You have to be careful. And this is usually what happens. There's a foul. Now you get to see the purple shirts, get in front of the net again and see what kind of traffic they can create. This is where we might see Rosales. Now, I've talked about him as Rosales or Chris Myers that will take this. And what ends up happening in these situations is both of them sit there, have a conversation, have a look, see which one feels the most confident. We're having a conversation now, but I think it will be Rosales.
Rosales is the 10. You're right. It's Rosales. Trying to go to Nate Jones again, but it was a little short. He had to retreat for it. Now they sent it in a second time. Ball back out to Scardina. One time. Oh, my goodness, on the volley. And UW breaks through.
That's just a flat-out wow. There's nothing Nate Crockford can do about that. If you just walk up there and place the ball where you want to put it, that was the case. Once this ball came out to Rosales, I mean, we've talked a little bit about his connection with that forward line. He will look for Elijah Paul first. That's what he does. And on this occasion, there really wasn't a whole lot he could do with it except knock it down. So you see the look up, Paul with the lay down, and then how about this? Just so clean right in the
that with the
top
outside
corner.
of his right.
I think he's trying to drive it. It's a little bit of a hit. If he's going to lie to us, he'll tell us he hit it perfectly. But that's a mishit that it finds its way into the top corner. Celebrate that one forever. This is an unbelievable look at it.
Crockford almost gets to this. Watch him go. Upper right here.
But once it comes in, coming through all those white shirts, you just saw it too late.
Yeah.
Great goal.
And Paul made it happen, nodding it backwards. Here comes UCLA. Edwards overruns it. He's got Silva. And it's knocked out.
Yeah, Tommy Silva, he's got to do better there. He's got to put that behind that back line, make them think about it, get those big boys thinking about not touching the ball when they're running at their own net, and make Fowler have to commit. See what he can make of the corner now.
75 seconds to play in the first half. Silva, outswinger, short at the 6.
Yeah, he
pops back out, but UCLA will hold the possession. Sent in. Edwards had to hold up his run, and he was offside anyway. Recognized it a little bit too late. So less than a minute now to play in the first half. Yeah, you almost predicted that goal in the build-up. You said after there's a foul and a restart,
that's
get
where you
numbers
don't want to
forward
concede,
into the box.
Yeah. And that's part of the whole process. These players are learning how to flow in the rhythm of a game and to trust themselves sometimes that the play is going to work out. You don't need to foul. If you go back and watch that play, 3 defenders, right? 3 defenders. They're all in close proximity to the ball. They don't need to foul, but they do, and it ends up being the scenario that is just a goalkeeper's nightmare.
And Washington has been so good on set pieces and restarts this year.
Again, yeah, that really is a moment of magic. I don't think he mishit it, but that's not what he was trying to do. But man, he gets to say forever, hey, I got something on my reel that I need you to see. What a goal.
Scardina takes a shot from distance, and you can see he knocked that ball out in front of him and just stepped into it. Countdown is on to end the first half.
3, 2, 1, 0.
So Scardina in the 44th minute on the volley. Elijah Paul takes that entry from Rosales, nods it backwards, and right at the edge of the 18, Scardina made a step inside, one time on the volley. UCLA just 1 in 3 when allowing the first goal. Meantime, Washington has now outscored opponents 28-5. And in the second half, they're even better.
It's always tough because it's a midfield battle tonight. And that's something that, when we talked to Ryan Jordan before the game, one of the things he says, in the midfield, we might struggle tonight. We might have to bypass it. But, hey, the reality is, too, they've had some success doing that. So Go back to it. See what happens.
Tucker Lepley, 5 goals, 7 assists a year ago. Dangerous player. UCLA is actually missing 4 players that would see time. Lepley, of course, would be a starter. But no excuses. Coaches don't really like to talk about injuries. They don't want you to know what it is, for one. They don't want to use it as an excuse because it sounds like whining. So Ryan Jordan didn't bring it up. I did. All right, here we go. We'll switch ends. Washington, of course, in their traveling purple. UCLA in the home whites. The shots were 7-3 Washington in the first half, but UCLA had the first 2 shots of the match before Washington was able to wrest control.
And to be fair, I think that one flurry in front of the goal, there was 2 shots that may eventually find their way on the score sheet.
And here's Edwards. Aaron Edwards, who's a defender, but you saw when he came in at the end of the first half for the final few minutes. Edwards playing at the offensive end, and here he starts down on this right side.
Well, I mean, they got some joy on that side. I mean, we talked a little bit about Chris Myers and his ability to venture forward. Sometimes when he gets back in those defensive spots, just because he's standing there doesn't mean he's ready to defend. He's tired. So, I mean, that's a good look. It's a good tactical move, if you will, from UCLA staff.
Grassi trying to take the air out of that ball because Elijah Paul, the leading scorer not only for Washington and the Pac-12 but in the country, was right on top of it. Elijah Paul wearing the 12 with 8 goals this year.
And he just stays hungry. You know, one of the marks of a great striker, and this is another thing we need to pay attention to, these long throw-ins have been opportunities.
Edwards hits that ball in the air. Played out nicely by Jose Sosa.
That's a smart move. Just get it out of there. Hit the reset button. Get the defensive setup. Smart move here from threat goal to wait until they can find their positions. Referee getting a little impatient.
Scardina, the goal scorer for Washington. Those twin ones on the back of the traveling purple and white. Nate Jones had a big impact on that first half. Pulls that ball back. Goes to Lucas Meek, who tries to one-touch it to Paul.
You've got to be careful there.
And Paul gets to that ball, knocks it away from the keeper, and out. It's going to be a goal kick. And Nate Crockford a little slow getting up, maybe got stepped on the right boot.
It just shows the power of Elijah Paul. I mean, you've got to be so careful. And one of the things that he does so well is he just doesn't give up on these plays. He almost makes something out of it.
Paul has scored in 5 of their 8 matches before this trip. Did not score down at San Diego State.
He didn't score in Arizona either, which was interesting, being a Glendale native.
But everybody knows him now, so he's going to get marked. And there's Paul right there going up to meet that ball in the air, but heads it wide.
That one coming out of the sun. It's not the easiest to see. It's a pretty good delivery there. Just finds that little pocket again. Unable to redirect it, but it's sort of hard, man, when you're jumping the wrong direction.
Blasu in the long pass forward, trying to go to Edwards. UCLA does not want to get reduced now to a team just playing a long, hopeful ball.
Well, you saw that little glance from Meek to the bench. So he got hit in the head again. It's just to shake it off. I'm okay. They are kind of sitting on pins and needles there with him.
Yeah, they're going to be careful with Meek. There he is in the air.
And another one.
And Moody hit him. We were just talking about it.
And I was afraid of it. That's why I brought it up.
Yeah, so Duty comes in behind him. Grayson Duty comes in behind Meek. Meek is backing up.
Yeah, and Jamie Clark might be just forced.
Yeah, you got to take him out.
And let's take a look at it. I mean, that's 3. That's 3. And I witnessed the first one. That was down in Grand Canyon.
Grayson Duty coming behind for UCLA in the heads.
Yeah, they just hit heads. You got to be so careful.
Meek says he's going to stay in. Well, the slow walk back to the bench. Now he's coming back to the bench. I think
they're going to have a discussion about it for sure. No, he just waved it off.
Yeah.
And and you know what?
Yep.
And I'm so proud of this group to be able to make a decision like that.
You bet.
I mean,
It's the right
Richie
call.
Amon is perfectly capable to handle it. It's horrible to see somebody take 3 shots to the head and then be in question, but we won't see him again tonight, rightly so.
So Meek ends up playing 12 minutes in this match. Remember, he came in late, 37th minute, the first half. But it has to happen. You have to take him out. You just can't mess with him. They were playing well without him. They're deep enough on that bench.
Well, he can always, put himself on the plus-minus chart that he was on the field when
He
the
was
goal
for the goal. That's right. +1. Shot by Soto is blocked.
Ooh.
Sosa, nice play. And he sets something up here for the Bruins. Ochoa.
Almost an own goal. And look who it is on the chase back. It's Omar Gray. And again, the other part of this is we talked about Tommy Silva. Was he going to be able to get forward? He's not the optimal option up there, but almost a
Boy, that is always so
fortunate
gutsy.
home goal.
Yeah, for a defender to play it back to his keeper like that.
And there's that
You gotta hit
press.
it just
This is
right.
dangerous.
Here's Omar Gray with a shot from far out. Didn't get all of it.
Husky shot number 5, Omar Gray.
Yeah, again, you see Washington invoking this press. It forces you to go long. It is your only option.
Edwards, good collection.
It's well done from Chris Myers.
Yeah, Chris Myers stayed right in front of him. Back out to Edwards. Plays it all the way through the 18 on the far side is Tommy Silva. And that same side, if you're going to be on that side and the service comes in, I mean, it's coming,
not the easiest.
coming right out of the ball of fire.
And number 3 is getting to venture forward a little bit more. But I'm not a fan of that cross. That cross has got to be more engaging as far as the goalkeeper is concerned. You got to put it in a space where Fowler has to think, even for a split second, that he might want to come get that.
Sunset today, 6:36 in Los Angeles. So that would mean that sun, right about the last 10 minutes of this match, should dip below the Palisades, maybe behind some of the dorms here. They might get a break. Those guys playing on the far touch. It's going to help both teams. The sun will be setting directly behind the press box. You see the shadows now reaching out to midfield.
Yeah, that other piece of that is on the other end. As far as UCLA is concerned, Nate Crawford they've already shown us a few times that they're willing to put 14 bodies inside.
Yeah. Would you have 16? Was that your?
Well, I got up to 16, maybe 18. No, I couldn't have been 18. It was 16, but it just looked like a mess in front of that goal. And then if you're the goalkeeper and you can't see it, you're looking straight into the sun.
Third goal plays it forward, ends up at the feet of Omar Gray. Gray's got Amon out here on the wing, but he elects not to give it to him. He plays kind of a lazy ball back.
Now, Soto has been so good tonight. He's just 1- and 2-touch soccer. And finding those little pockets where he can get the ball, draw him in. Dos Oriente is also, for me, when I walk Costa Oriente, I apologize. What he reminds me of is Roldan. He's got that same feel, who's played for our national team up in Seattle Sounders. I don't think Christian Roldan has the throw in, but this certainly is. He owns this department.
Kalani Kosariense from Berkeley High School, the Yellow Jackets. Chipping this one right to the end line. Paul running on, couldn't get to it. Wouldn't have much to do with it once he got there. 1-0 Washington scored in the 44th minute. Nick Scardina. One time on the volley. The assist goes to Elijah Paul. Headed it back to him from the 6.
That was a good look there. Soto has just been so active. And if you're a young player out there and you're watching, what Soto does so well is constantly wait for his opportunities to press. He doesn't go early. And he's certainly proving that being 5'0" is not a problem when you're really that good on the ball.
High pressure continues from Washington. Amon and Elijah Paul. Omar Gray, of course, always involved in it, right at the point. So UCLA has to work for every inch. I mean, look how long it took UCLA, 30 seconds to get the ball to midfield. And that's okay if you keep the possession. And they do. Edwards going to go quickly, but referee blows a whistle to stop it. Going to the bench. Bruins going to the bench early in this one. Mielides is coming back in. And Pablo Greenlee for the first time. Greenlee wearing 13. And, of course, you saw Mielides in the first half with the 21. So Mielides going to go on that far side. Tommy Silva coming out.
And I like this sub. I really do. I mean, this is basically Ryan Jordan showing that look, I want to get after him. Mielides has had a couple of opportunities in the first half. He likes that matchup.
I'm on the takeaway. Gray and then Scardina.
That's just great midfield play again from Costa Renzi.
I'm on. And well played by the new guy on the pitch, Pablo Greenlee. 56th minute. Game starts out quietly here in the second half.
It does have that feel to it. It's a bit stagnant at the moment. I think that's the logic in the early subs to bring some energy back into the game. The pace has certainly slowed down.
Yeah, it was frantic to frenetic in that first 20 minutes.
And this would be what Jamie Clark in Washington wants. They would love to slow the game down, manage it. Great tackle from Soto.
And he's giving it just off his foot, and Sosa takes it away.
It's a great battle with those two.
So at San Diego State on Thursday night, Washington led 2-0 at the break as we look back at this last play.
It's well done. He gets up so quickly and tries to re-engage. That touch lets him down.
So the second half at San Diego State the other night, Washington was actually outshot 10-3. Up 2-0, you figured they'd maybe play a little bit on the back foot in the second half, protect the advantage, not give up an early goal. San Diego State had some opportunities, but Fowler and the defense were up to it, recorded their fourth shutout. In fact, Washington shut out two of its last three opponents. Cam Wilkerson into the game now for UCLA.
He comes in for Ochoa, who was somewhat disappointed tonight. He did give a signal to the bench as if, I think I'm done for the night.
Wilkerson, a freshman from the Bay Area, Richmond. Goes Arienze. And Miglietti for Washington. Win it right back. Playing it forward. Paul with space. Looking for help, has Amon. Overruns it, so now he gives it to Amon a little bit late. UCLA back defensively. Threadgold, far side. Threadgold's had a couple of nice services from the perimeter. And Nate Jones.
That's really compact right now. Amon in the first half was getting wide. He's getting wide now, but
Myers and Amon trying to work a little give and go. Edwards is pulled down, and that's got to be a foul on Christian Soto. Locked the arm of Edwards and pulled him to the turf. Quick restart by UCLA, playing a bit quicker. Soto tripped up. So Soto and Sosa, and that could draw a card.
Or just a talking to. I think what he's saying here is that look, these two have gone at it a few times.
Yes.
And you like to see these two bringing in the competitive nature, but you can tell when they look at each other. They don't smile at each other. They know exactly what kind of battle they're in.
The fact that they're ignoring each other from 5 feet away tells you that all they're doing is they're obsessed with one another right now.
It is. It's so true. Well, let's see what kind of look they have again. They've piled it up on that back post.
And again, you got Scardina and Myers. What's your guess this time? It's been Scardina from out here. He goes.
Neither one of them liked it.
Yep. They both get to touch it. This is Myers. Chips it in. Over Gray.
the best of crosses.
Nope.
UCLA needs to figure out a way to get some bodies forward now.
So UCLA, 3 goals in its last 4 matches. Shut out Thursday night against Oregon State. Nothing to show in the first half. But they look better offensively. They look like a more dangerous team. Now we played 59 minutes. Washington, number 2 in the country, unbeaten through 9 matches. And number 1 Wake Forest beaten last night. So Washington playing for number 1. I don't think Washington has ever been number 1 in the Jamie Clark era. They've been close. Obviously, they're number 2 right now. They've been number 4 several times.
He's never finished worse than 3rd in the Pac-12, which is, just shows the consistency.
Yes.
He's always had a winning record, which is, you can't say about everybody.
He's won 67% of his games at Washington, but if you work in draws, 77% unbeaten. You can buy a house with that, right? You're going to be around a while. You have to rent. And down goes Edwards. He stays down. The crowd wants a whistle to stop it. Paul's trying to keep it in play. Elijah Paul to the middle of the field. Cuts by a 4th Bruin. Now he's head on a swivel looking for help. Still with the ball at his feet. Now he's knocked down. So Aaron Edwards is still back at one end of the field. Now Paul is down.
Yeah, the original foul, and they're having a conversation, as you can see. That's what the headpiece is all about. He wanted to get the AR involved, meaning the linesman. If there was something to talk about, we might have a bit of a break. Can you? Well, this is it, just squeezing in between 2 people.
Edwards getting hit in the face?
I don't see much there. I think this is just a tired body saying, I've had enough, I'm going down. And which is actually, somewhat silly. You don't want to foul in these kind of spots. It's already proven problematic for UCLA. Now you factor the sun into this. I mean, ultimately, the idea should be to just chip it into the big boys and try and get the knockdown.
Well, this is where we were, 2 minutes ago? Same 2 guys.
Yeah, that's the same discussion. The in-swinger doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but if you think Scardino, after scoring a goal, you would say, hey, maybe I'm better up there.
It's going to be Myers.
Not a bad ball either.
Grassi who cleared for UCLA. Grassi's back there again. And it goes to the keeper, Nate Crockford.
One of the other things that both coaches touched upon is this Sunday game is always so difficult to manage with tired bodies, injuries, and you're trying to get the most out of them.
Crockford just punts that ball up into the stands. Crockford now, with the 10 shots by Washington, has faced 101 shots so far in 9 matches.
We might get to 110 tonight, and the problem for him is he might not see a couple of those.
Yeah, so right now the keeper, you can see shading his eyes.
With this long throw-in, and the idea is to get the flick on and win the knockdown. So watch for Soto to just kind of sneak in there and try and get on the end of something.
Throw into the box to Jones. Yep. Crockford grabs it with the gloves. I can see a little more urgency from UCLA. Had a chance there to play with Washington retreating upfield. Well done by Greenlee to keep it.
Some crowd reaction for the nutmeg.
J.C. Cortez stays on for UCLA, far side, the 26. Over the top, trying to go to Edwards. Is he on? And gets shoved. Yeah, everything's okay. No whistle. Myers running back there with him, give him just a little nudge, knock him off.
Now, both teams are starting to...
Conte just took one right in the gut.
Let's see how he is.
He's going to need a minute. Yeah. That one hurt us.
A couple of times what Chris Myers has done is he's kind of crept up the sidelines, taking advantage of the time, killed some time off the clock. Elvis having no part of it.
Elvis Mahmutovic, our referee today, and sends him back. Sent him back good 15 meters down the touchline. And here's that urgency I was hoping to see from UCLA. Tommy Silva's coming back in, so he wasn't out long. And Rainbow is also in. Greenlee with the throw-in. And same thing. So you knew Elvis was going to do it, right? If he's going to send Myers back for Washington, he's got to send Greenlee back.
Yeah,
Rainbow has it run off his foot, taken away by Kalani Kosariense. Scardina, the goal scorer, plays it backwards.
Oh, what a touch from Soto.
Soto to Gray. Amon near touch. Cuts it back in as they cross. Amon to his right foot. Scardina at the top of the 18. Back to Amon. Washington showing great patience here. Chipped into Gray. Gray's so good playing the ball off his chest. Gets it to his feet quickly. UCLA extending the defensive pressure now, and Washington retreating near midfield. Kosariense, Scardina. Keep thinking Scardina's going to get off a crack from distance.
This is wise from Washington, just to make UCLA chase, tire him out a bit.
Burn the clock. Amon having first touch. 65th minute, 1-0 Washington, scored in the 44th. Here's Amon, still on his foot. Scardina, and taken away by UCLA.
Another awesome tackle.
And here they come again. Amon, right foot, blocked. Well done defensively, J.C. Cortez for the Bruins.
Yeah, Kosariense has just been absolutely amazing in the middle of the field. He picks those times. He and Soto, they work so well together. It's so difficult to play through the middle of the park. You make one bad touch and you're in trouble. She could have been a foul there.
UCLA with a chance. Edwards alone right side. Instead they played to the left. Mielides unable to keep it in. Took a high bounce on him, I think. Seemed like his foot just went right underneath it.
Yeah.
Taken away by Gray. Soto out to Amon.
You can hear his entire bench yelling at him to beat him. They want him to dribble. They want him in this spot.
Elijah Paul's right at the edge of the 6, waiting for the service from Amon, but he's dispossessed.
Yeah. Amon was trying to go through him, not around him.
Here's Myers. Thinking about the left foot, instead chipping it inside. Had both Gray and Paul and split the difference. Edwards off of Soto, throwing UCLA. Quickly they want to go. Soto running into Edwards. Edwards gives him an elbow. Edwards saying, I'm trying to throw it in, and the assistant referee is right there to quiet things down.
They'll stop the clock, and they're going to have to discuss this.
So Soto he was trying to impede.
Yeah, it's the after bit.
Yeah, he tries to impede him right here. And he said, get out of my way, you're out of bounds. Well, Soto can't do that.
There's no doubt about it. Soto's at fault.
Yeah, he can't step over the touchline.
Once somebody gives you that kind of opportunity, and you're a big guy like Edwards, you're going to basically say, all right, you're going down. He'll have. I don't think anything comes of this. You got to calm him down, because if as a referee, this is the part of the game where both teams are going to push. There's going to be a few more of these opportunities to be, if you're tired, you come in late. It's good refereeing. He's telling him to calm down. Let's try and play.
Eric, when you were a player, you used your elbows from time to time, didn't you?
Yeah, I never had to sharpen them, but I certainly. They were. When you're a forward, the realities of that job is you're going to get hit from behind. And the sorest part of my body was always the back of my arms, because that was what I needed to constantly push,
holding guys off.
To hold people off.
Yep. Wilkerson back to Cortez. Both those guys getting big minutes here in the second half. UCLA has really got deep into their bench.
Again, there he is, right in the way.
Comes to Rienze, you love him. And right to Soto. We're talking about how well these two guys have worked together this time. UCLA able to take it away. Bruins looking for the equalizer. Chance here, Edwards had it run off his right foot.
That first touch let him down.
Greenlee.
It's just really good defending from Chris Myers to shepherd that out of bounds. So these are the kind of plays where you have to have quality in the moments that matter.
Greenlee to Wilkerson.
He's on the turn, and basically as a defender, you just get yourself in the way and don't get out of the way.
And Wilkerson knew it on that first touch. Just too heavy, ball got away from him. Myers able to slip in. Chris Myers, sophomore from Sacramento, Jesuit High School. Leads the team with 7 assists. He has at least 1 assist in 6 of the 8 coming in.
He really does have a bit of a wand as a left foot. We're watching him play throughout the year. He's not going to dazzle you with the...
Rosales is coming back into the game. Remember, it was Rosales off that restart.
And I think
sent
this
it
is a
into
really good sub.
Paul, nodded back, and Scardina scored.
This is a really good sub with that last 20 minutes to see if he can get something out of him. Again, Jamie Clark, wants more out of him. And it's games like this where he needs to step up, but he certainly has the talent and the ability to make that special play.
Throw in, they go to Nate Jones.
Away, Rainbow.
And Rainbow able to clear it. Fred Gold.
How about that for a skill check?
Soto. Mielides, nice touch there. Rainbow holds up.
You got to move the ball quickly here.
Oh.
Well, it's just got to be running 2-touch soccer. It's the only way to go.
Bruins almost an unforced error. They're giving it to Paul, who was all by himself. Got away with it. Grassi has space. Advances ball. Greenlee.
Washington will be content with this. Just small movements.
Yep, laying back
over 5 to 7 yards.
Yeah, well, they're fine with this, right? If you
hold your spacing and keep the ball in front of you.
Now Omar Gray starts to pressure high.
And then when the ball goes into that space, you see the immediate pressure. It's such a well-coached team.
Here we go, Wilkerson. And run off it. Rosales sees Edwards. And they hit the ball together, but that's going to be a goal kick.
You love to see that the tracking back from Rosales. It's not really his job, but in games like this, it's all hands on deck.
And the assist on the Scardini goal. Told you in the first half, Jamie Clark says that Rosales has been the best player in training. San Diego State taking care of Oregon State down south on the Montezuma Mesa, the sports deck, 3-0. That's a surprise.
Somewhat. I mean, Hopkins has been figuring out how to put that team together.
Yeah, not the victory, but the 3-0 after Oregon State had come here and shut out UCLA. So coming in, there are 6 teams in Pac-12 soccer, including San Diego State. Oregon State, Washington, UCLA, and Stanford all got at least one first-place vote. So that tells you the league's wide open.
Yep.
From the Bruins, down 1, final 20 minutes. Silva looking for Edwards. It's behind him. Back to Greenlee. Knocked away by Myers. So here's your updated standings, and of course, not everybody's played the same amount. In fact, Washington just opened its conference season on Thursday, so this is just their second Pac-12 match.
Right, nobody's running away with it. I mean, it's about as close as you're going to see it.
And San Diego State right in it now. That's going to be fun. Last year, Oregon State wins it. Washington is second. Oregon State goes to the Elite 8. Washington all the way to the College Cup, all the way to the final, and beaten 2-0 by Clemson on the last day of the season. And it was funny talking with Gunnar Chancellor, the Bruins right there. Double header, almost in the equalizer. Rainbow.
It's a taste of your own medicine here. I mean, this is something that we've seen Washington do. It's a great flick header right where you want to be. And, hard to miss. Hard to miss from there. That's 2 out of him.
Is that Grassi on the first header?
6 feet, 6 yards out.
Well, to finish the thought, we were talking with Jamie Clark, the Washington head coach, about losing the final last year, and if that was the impetus this year, coming in strong. And what did he say?
Well, I mean, I had heard from multiple sources that it really has been a huge source of motivation. But the calming influence that Jamie Clark has, he says, look, it happened. It's over. We don't focus on it. We're a new setup. It's a new team. And it's not something that we even want to talk about. It's just we want to do our own thing and let this team, let this version of this university have their own identity, which I thought was somewhat clever because he's basically taking the pressure out of it. And, the reality of 9 guys from that final are participating tonight means that they do have the experience. And when you do have the experience, you don't need to talk about it.
Yep.
You just need to go out there and do it.
Those guys know.
Yep.
They remember. Heck, you remember yours, right?
It's probably,
freshman year at San Diego State.
Had, speaking of San Diego State, our 35-year reunion of that group that took out number 1, 2, 3, 4 to get to the final. And we lost to the 23rd team in the country, Clemson Tigers. And I think we're the only team that I'm aware of that has made it into the Hall of Fame without winning anything. So we're still very proud of that.
Riley Furch is into the game for UCLA for the first time. There he is right there, the 10.
Again.
Cosariense laying a ball a bit too heavy for Paul. UCLA defensively was right in the seam. Rainbow now. Miglietti comes in and just knocks him off it. Washington fans love it. The Bruins say that wasn't a push. Soto now. Soto gets it back, has Paul with him.
You're seeing some tired bodies right now, especially Elijah Paul. He is tired.
Getting a little
can't
ragged.
run out. He's not going to be able to run past anybody.
Well, that's the thing. They play all this high pressure defensively, and you're asking your strikers to chase the ball.
That guy hasn't lost any steam. That's the one thing I've been so impressed with Christian Soto is that he just is an engine, and he just never stops.
Looks like Jason Baca is going to come in for Washington on the next whistle. The Huskies know a goal here could put things away. And just over 15 minutes left to play. No overtime in college soccer anymore.
Baca is the super sub. He brings a whole new level of energy. Sometimes he's not going to be able to give you the finish that maybe Elijah Paul can give you. But it's a different look, and it can throw you off. And I've loved that about this Jamie Clark side because I've mentioned before that they've utilized people in different times, and it kind of moves the pieces around on you, and it just changes the look. That unpredictability is probably why they're in the number 2 spot in the country.
Rainbow in the middle.
That's better from Rainbow. Now if you can get in front of the goal.
Offside?
Call that
They
offside.
got Conte offside. Rainbow wait too long to play that ball to him? Just a touch?
It's 2 things. Just a touch, but also, if you watch this back line and when in those certain situations, just how they know how to step at the appropriate time together. It's just always in sequence. I've mentioned before that I think that this Washington side is very well coached, and Jamie Clark was a fantastic defender in his own right. He was a leader. He was a talker. He was someone that was constantly barking out instructions to the people around him, in front of him, next to him. So it's kind of that theory that sometimes teams take on the personality of their manager. I mean, it really, when you look at that back line, the only thing that he said about Nate Jones was, hey, I just need you to be more. I need you to have more of a presence back there. This doesn't look good. We could tell that he was tiring a bit. I think he was that next sub anyway. But Elijah Paul just did reach for that left hamstring a second ago. Let's take a look at what happened. It's on that return back into the play. Yeah,
that's a tired dog is what that is.
He's a tired man. That's what he is. Yeah,
I'm
right
just
there.
gonna stay down
it's,
for a second.
it's that hamstring. It's right behind the. I don't think he's pulled anything.
Baca's gonna come in. You're
he's
right.
cramping up a bit.
Yeah, and Paul's going to the bench.
If you watch his minutes, though, he never, very rarely will get a 90-minute game. And if you look at the more successful games, it's 72 to 80 minutes is usually what you'll get out of it. I mean, even in that game in Grand Canyon, where he was so motivated to score, everybody but him
Going
scored.
home,
He's
yeah.
from Glendale, Arizona, and he gets a yellow card, and Jamie Clark says, "Sorry, your night's over. You've run your race." And that's the smartness of that. Yes, you're tired. Don't want him to get hurt with a schedule that's starting to get a little bit more compacted. You want to have him, when it really matters in a month from now. But yeah, you got to get the most of him when you got him out there. This is a whole new look for Washington now with Baca up there.
And let's be honest, what Elijah Paul brings for Washington, you don't need right now. They don't need a lot of offense. They need some stout defense. They need ball possession. Edwards, UCLA needs one. This is same situation from Thursday night, same field against Oregon State. Trying to get the equalizer late. Knocked out, corner.
Well, settle for
It's Wilkerson. Wilkerson hurries. Tick, tick, tick. 13 and a half minutes to go.
I thought about going short.
Yeah, I thought they'd go short corner there and get the ball back in play.
This is still a tough proposition for Fowler. He's got an in-swinger from Tommy Silva.
He's looking right up into the sun.
All
Look
about
at the keeper.
delivery now.
He's got those Mickey Mouse gloves up, trying to block the sun so he can see it. Ball loose. Edwards trying to get a foot on it, just pokes it out.
Yeah, unfortunately, they're going to call a foul there. It reminds me a lot of the Cal Berkeley game. When the game started to break down a bit, they were really able to capitalize on those set pieces. Conte ended up getting a great header at that near post, but in these kind of moments, it's really important to execute on the delivery, make sure your runs are right.
Fowler's going to take his time, squeeze every second off the clock, and then puts it well across midfield. Rosales. Here's Rosales again. Left footer. And right to the keeper. And Crockford, perfect position, goal central.
Yeah, it was a quick look. I mean, he'll always look to pass. I was actually surprised he shot, but does really well to get in this spot. You see him looking up, trying to find his option, realize he doesn't have one. Has to go with the left.
Yeah, because Gray was well marked. They wanted him to take that shot.
I'll tell you this, if Paul were still out there, that would have been a different outcome. He would, no matter what, he would have figured out a way to find him.
Taken away by Grossi.
Start to see Omar Gray is starting to tire as well. He's got a lot of miles on those legs tonight.
Less than 12 minutes left on the clock at Wallace-Annenberg Stadium. You and I were talking before the match. When you came up here in college, they were playing, well, the men's team was playing over at Drake.
Right.
And then maybe at Spalding, the practice football field as well. So
this
this
is a
this
long
nice
time ago,
facility.
my friend.
Yeah.
But this is a wonderful venue for collegiate soccer.
UCLA women use it as well. It's right in the middle of campus, too.
Yeah, boy, I'll tell you, the women at UCLA are one heck of a team. I paid witness to that. My daughter plays for Pepperdine, and that scoreline was 4-0. And you really got to see the class of that side. UCLA women are a fantastic team to watch. If you get a chance to get out here and watch them, they are worth the trip.
Kevin Diaz coming back in. KD, a big offensive threat here for UCLA. So, key substitution, Edwards goes out.
And this is a tactical move, and I like this because Diaz will certainly, we saw him have some clever moments in the first half, having his way with Chris Myers, but he's got to stay wide. Pinching in the way he is now is not the answer. He's got to get as wide as he can and provide some sort of outlet.
Grossi picks up that ball, escorts it out of the area.
Really is an impressive player. Call a foul there. That's just exuberance. You see as this ball goes up in the air, this is what you do when you're just coming into the game as a sub. Man, he's lucky not to get hurt there.
Yeah, Sean Sent, Bellevue kid, across the lake. Sammamish High School. trying to get his head coach's attention. Give me more minutes. Make an impact on the game. There he is, got a foot on it. He and Baca fresh legs up front. Scardina, the goal scorer. Only one of the game. Sent again.
I didn't think he'd get there, but he'll earn a corner.
Kosariense.
Washington.
A smart touch there. And the clock just going to continue to run.
And they're still going to go
It's out
for
of
it
10
here.
minutes. Yeah.
Big boys will come
Press
forward. Rosales will try and possibly find that near post. And again, I mean, if you're really being honest here, keep an eye on Soto, 14. As this ball, comes back out, he might be in a good spot.
That footer is blocked. Kosariense. Play it out wide. No hurry here if you're Washington. Let that clock run. Rosales. Rosales sending it in. Right when I thought they were going to show patience.
It's really unwise as well. I mean, there's nobody in the 18-yard box to get on the end of that. Baca is now kind of reserved to be more of a defensive effort to finish off the game. You can see Rosales is going to stay high, and Baca is going to be relied upon to provide the fresh legs to keep an eye on Sosa and to make sure that Diaz doesn't get free.
Just over 8 minutes left to play. UCLA 1-1 in conference. Washington 1-0. Washington not only trying to go top of the table in the Pac-12, but a chance to be the #1 team in the nation. They were #2 coming in.
That's just
Not
terrific
done
stuff.
yet. Conte got it, put down the keeper. Fowler still down. Fowler looks like he's injured. The UCLA crowd saying he looked up and then went back to the turf trying to draw the whistle and the stoppage.
Yeah, he might be really
And now
hurt.
there's a lot of pushing going on, and now it's a party. We got people down, we got people pushing.
And he might be really hurt. I mean, this was a fantastic transitional play from UCLA. Tommy Silva putting the ball into space. And that's a fantastic pass, and you really have a great opportunity. Commitment from Fowler to come out. He will make the save.
Yeah, he got his right hand on it. Right as Conte put his right
And
foot
he's
into
immediately grabbing that elbow. And I'm not entirely sure what the injury was. I mean, I guess the argument from UCLA is, come on, let us shoot on an empty goal. But our referee doing the right thing. This is somewhat of a worry. I mean, it's a fantastic save, full commitment. He could have stayed on his line, but chose to come out. He came out hard. If you're going to do that, you got to be committed to the play. And it's a great save. Let's just hope it doesn't cost him through injury. It doesn't look good, because he hasn't really moved from that spot since it happened.
And Fowler,
Take a look at it in slow motion here. You see
right
as
foot.
Conte, it just gets caught
Yes,
up with
his
Conte.
right arm got caught back.
And now you can see how it's just kind of,
He's holding, looks like
he's holding it
forearm.
immediately.
Yeah.
And you can see Chris Myers is putting his hand up because he sees that his goalkeeper's hurt. Yeah, it's bad enough
Clark,
to
the
warrant
head coach,
Jamie
is
Clark
out
coming
there.
all the way.
Yeah, all the way downfield. That's right. Trainer's coming out now.
He's on the field. What he needs to do now is they need to get the backup goalkeeper ready. And I think Jamie is upset, but at the same time, he's actually a really level-headed guy. If he feels that his goalkeeper has been kicked, he's going to argue it.
There's your two head coaches, Ryan Jordan and the white cap for UCLA, Jamie Clark, Washington. What's that conversation about? Because he just pointed at him.
No.
Yeah, you don't need that right now. So Jamie Clark, a normally calm guy, pretty upset. And Ryan Jordan said, just walk away, coach. Go to your end.
I think sometimes as a coach, and you've gone over there, you've surveyed the situation, and you just realize that you might have lost your keeper. Your heart, really pours out in those moments. And there's been some words that neither one of them are going to want to admit were said.
See, the UCLA fans saw Fowler pop his head up, And then when UCLA regained the possession, he put his head back down and started rolling around. So they thought he was trying to draw the whistle for the stoppage since he was so far out of his cage. But now you can tell. And now the referee's going to send Jamie Clark back to his bench. Says, that's enough, coach. Elvis Mahmutovic, the referee, lets Jamie Clark have his talk. So let me walk you back to your bench. Separate the benches, separate the coaches. Yeah, it's an emotional moment late in the game. 83rd minute, 1-0. Washington unbeaten. UCLA hasn't scored in a week.
Well, this, unfortunately, is going to be a serious injury for him not to have moved. Yeah, I mean, clearly he was in pain in the second of impact, and I think the decision needs to. Well, I think the decision's been made, though. Jaden Bowden will start getting warm now, wearing the number 0 shirt.
Yeah, Fowler's going to be out of this game, so Jaden Bowden, as you said, is down on the Washington bench, and he's warming up. And this is going to be a tough moment for the sophomore from Spokane at Ferris High School. He's going to have to come into a heated match with a lot on the table, and he's been watching for the better part of 2 hours, and now he's got to close it out. But keepers, you know, like guys in the bullpen, you got to be ready all the time.
Well, I mean, we just got finished telling the story about Nate Crawford, who was put in a very similar scenario last year, and once he got that opportunity, he never let go.
When Justin Garces got hurt, yeah.
And it's really one of those unfortunate things. I mean, I'm not to go back again, but that team that I played for at San Diego State that went to the final, we lost our goalkeeper to a broken leg in the 4th game of the year. And our backup, who we really didn't know a whole lot about, Brian Finnerty, ended up galvanizing our entire team. This guy was amazing. We used to call it cellophane. On this very field, you know, when we played against UCLA, this was a much better UCLA side than we were. This Ziggy Schmidt team was about as good as you could get. Billy Thompson somehow missed on 3 occasions, and we got out of there with a 2-1 victory. But this is a huge moment in Washington's season, and I don't know how serious the injury would be.
Yeah, they got an air cast on it,
but it's
might just be a precaution.
It's bad enough.
So now here he comes. Jaden Bowden's going to have to finish it off here for Washington. Still a long way to go, and a lot to be decided. And look, they bring him right in. They said, "Look, we got you." Jones says, if you get it, just get rid of it.
It's probably a
just
pretty
get
good,
it away from here.
Pretty good advice.
We just need to burn clock. And it's just an awful scene to see Sam Fowler. He's having such a great year.
Well, this too. I mean, reading the body language and posture of both coaches, you know, this is not something they want to linger. So let's get back to your benches.
But as far as the play is concerned, clean play, right? Because Conte gets there in time.
Yeah, and I'm not entirely sure what Jamie
and Fowler's coming
so
way off his line and sliding under.
I think it's just the reality of realizing that I've just lost my goalkeeper potentially for the year.
I mean, this is 50-50, isn't it?
No, I mean, but he's fully committed, and once that ball goes across, he just does a great job of making himself big. He leaves that dragging right hand, and it just gets caught up with Conte. They fall together. And as he falls awkwardly, and we'll find out later for sure after the game what exactly happened, but to see him go off on an air cast would indicate to me that it's that elbow, and it's probably the ligaments. I don't like to prognosticate on stuff like this, but man, if you've got to try to make that immediate attempt to stop the swelling through an air cast, it's not good news.
All right, so ball's back in play. Clock continues to run. 83rd minute. Both teams a little heated right now. Sun is setting. For UCLA, they have not scored since last week. Lost to Oregon State on Thursday right here, 1-0. Washington 1 down at San Diego State, 2-0.
Yeah, there's a sense of urgency to their play right now.
Here's Conte.
That's nice stuff out of this Spaniard. He'll get the foul. Now, this is the last thing in the world you want. You've just come into the game as a goalkeeper. There's 7 minutes to go. You're looking into the sun. How about this for a little bit of trickery from the Spaniard over the top of Chris Myers? He's forced to foul him. He's lucky not to get a card out of that. This is all about service. You're going to put as many bodies in there as you possibly can.
Jose Sosa,
get the
Riley
knockdown.
Furch.
Get the knockdown.
Furch is the 10. Looks like it's going to be Riley. Sat out the whole first half, now looking for a beautiful service. Ball's loose. Washington wanted a handball, and the whistle did come.
Man, when he
Bounced
motioned
up,
to the
hit some-
hand, I thought for a second that we're gonna get a late penalty, but
Watch all
here
the
we go.
Washington
Not the
defenders
best
put
of
their hands
services.
in the
He's hit it well. Once it's been flicked, it's come through there, and they're gonna have to stop that one. This is the most crucial part of the game, clearly for UCLA. But getting the ball wide and getting the ball in has got to be in their thinking. Test this goalkeeper.
air. 6 minutes left.
It's a great ball there. So get it wide now.
Birch.
Get it wide and get it in. That's got to be
And now
the plan.
Duty. And Duty hits Soda.
And Soda got hit hard there.
Soda went down. He's still down, but he's back up to his knees and now climbs back to his feet. I'm going to give him a minute.
Well, this is certainly gamemanship as well, but that was a late hit. This is not, I mean, he's 5'5", and he's not the biggest guy out there, but he might be the toughest. I haven't seen him go down like this ever. Just gets ahead of him. He comes in and makes the tackle, and man, he gets hit hard there.
Yeah, the knee right in the thigh. Just got off the foot of Duty. It's all Washington needs to do. Keep rejecting that ball to the opposite end. 5.5 minutes to play.
And Soto is feeling it. He's got a hitch in his step. He's motioning to the bench. They're trying to talk to him, and he's avoiding them completely. He wants to finish the game.
Well, obviously a sense of urgency right here, but we're in the shadow of Pauley Pavilion, so every Bruin knows the phrase, be quick, but don't hurry. Get down into the corner.
Yeah, they'll be content with that right now. Washington is simply doing their best to just keep it in their end. And we will get an offensive look. This is interesting. As far as we were concerned, we thought that that's probably the end of Elijah Paul's night.
And he comes back in.
And he's back in with the two starters up top.
So what's the thought here?
Hold it.
Yep.
You know, if you get the ball to these two, I mean, you might find them taking the ball into the corner. You got to take your points where you can get them. But they need strong bodies up there that are experienced enough to know how to hold the ball in the opposition's end. It's a great play there.
Kevin Diaz. And you saw Silva say, lay it right here, right at my feet. And Silva sends it into the 18, but on the ground, and Washington picks it off. Bruins still with the ball. Chance. Silva. Rainbow. The edge of the 6 and cleared out by Jones.
It's a great step by Nate Jones, just reading the play, just being in the way. Unfortunate there from Perch.
Yeah, Perch had it run off his right foot, and Washington able to clear. I'll tell you what, I've seen Perch hit from 20 yards out. So if Washington packs that 18, Perch could pull the trigger from distance. 4 minutes left.
Right, our assumptions about Washington's game plan have been confirmed. They're just going to bang it forward and hope the big boys can hold on to it. The idea being just keep the ball as far from your goal as possible. The clouds are completely covered the field now. There's no more problems with that sun being in your eyes anymore.
Yep. Rainbow all by himself. He needs somebody to come over. Silva does. It's knocked out. UCLA throw in. 3.5 minutes. Washington sitting in the number 2 spot nationally. Number 1 Wake Forest beaten last night.
This is great work from these two.
Oh, great turn by Paul. Elijah Paul, all he's really got to do is hold on to this ball for a little bit. Double and triple team, couldn't get it to Omar Gray, who was alone. And here come the Bruins' chance to counter. Riley Furch. Forward, keeper is all the way out of his area. Plays it with his feet. Furch looking for Conte, near touchline. Clock is ticking, crowd rises as one. Conte splits defenders. Conte looking to lay it off. And it's cleared. UCLA needs 1. Chip over the top. And off his line, Jaden Boughton. So far he's had to make 2 big plays, and he survived them both.
Yeah, but how about Conte? He knows that
Beautiful.
if he just keeps trucking, he might make something happen here. Chris Myers is late coming in. The pass just doesn't find its destination. Just puts it in a spot where you're kind of hoping somebody will make a run. He might get another shot.
Diaz on a run. Diaz wants this ball at his feet. Keeper coming out. Diaz got a part of it. Collision right at the 18. Diaz is saying,
yeah, he's got to stop the game because he's motioned to his head. If Diaz wouldn't have motioned to his head, he wouldn't have stopped the game.
Yeah.
Check this out. How about for
watch Bout
a little
coming
spot
out.
of bravery?
Oh,
come on. I can't touch him with my
goodness.
hands. Wow.
You know, Jaden Boughton goes 6'3".
That's the last thing you want is you see that guy bearing down on you. 6'3". The ball's out of the box. You know that he can't touch it with his hands.
He's all geeked
coming
up
in
because he
hard.
just came into the game.
It's quite a risk. If he misses that play, then we're looking at...
That's twice he's come out of the 18 in the final minutes.
He's proven his point. Certainly belongs in there.
Less than 2 minutes now. 2 minutes to play at Wallace-Annenberg. Washington unbeaten through 9, number 2 in the country.
And this, not to mention they've done it on a spectacular goal. Scardino with the finish in the top corner just before the half, but this has been a different half. UCLA has been the much better side at times. The theme of this year has really been unable to score.
Riley Furch tried to go to Conte, who got held up. He and Myers tangled at the edge of the penalty area. Myers went down. Conte stumbled past him. No whistle. A minute 10. And Paul gets knocked down, and that's going to take some time off the clock. So the next time UCLA touches it, there's going to be less than a minute.
Yeah, if the referee needs to stop the clock.
Now they're going to burn 15, 20 seconds here on the stoppage because they're in no hurry. Scardino there, 11, the goal scorer. And Rosales looks back to make sure.
This ball will find its way all the way to the corner.
Sure. Omar Gray is there. Maybe one chance for UCLA, but long way away. Soto comes in on the foul. And the countdown's going to be on 30 seconds left in the game. Does UCLA have enough time to get to it?
Yeah, they've got 31 seconds. I never count that last second, Jim. I just feel like nothing ever happens in the last second.
Got to go. Got to play a hopeful ball now. There it is. Wilkerson wins it in the air.
Another head injury.
And another one as Omar Gray comes in and hits him from behind. And another player is down with 19 seconds left on the stadium clock. It's been a costly game on both sides. Especially Washington, remember, lost Meek already.
Right, so I mean, it starts with Meek, and then we've had a couple tonight. There's no harm. There's no real vicious nature of that. It's just two guys going for the ball, but it really has been the theme tonight. And once you see any player hold his head, it invokes an immediate stoppage in the game. The referee, rightly so.
Cam Wilkerson looks like he's all right.
He is all right. He passed that concussion protocol too quickly. You can't do that either. You got to come off.
Yep.
He needs to go all the way. What he needs to understand, he needs to go all the way back to the halfway line before he can go.
Yeah, UCLA's playing a man down right now. It's not going to matter.
He just ran on. He could actually get a yellow card for what he just did.
Here comes the countdown, 10 seconds.
And that'll do it.
That is it. That ball goes out of the field. And Washington is going to remain unbeaten, 9-0-1. Coaches with a quick handshake.
Yeah, that was a little anticlimactic. I thought that those two might have words, but in the end, class prevails.
Talking it over. Washington survives a tough trip for Washington to Southern California. They beat San Diego State on Thursday 2-0. They come up here in a hard-fought win over 90 minutes in Westwood. Take the Bruins down 1-0 for UCLA. Let's start with them. Frustrated again, shut out for the second time this week.
Yeah, that's the hard part. I mean, you come into the week ranked number 14 in the country. You slip a bit against Oregon State. You look for that opportunity to redeem yourself against a very strong Washington team, and you end up walking away.